I'm joined by future UFC Hall of Famer and current title contender Dustin Poirier on behalf of Bud Light ahead of his fight for the 155-pound belt against Islam Makhachev. Dustin, last time we spoke was ahead of your fight with Benoit Saint Denis at UFC 299. You came in as the underdog, delivered a performance of the ages with that second-round knockout. When I talked to you last time, it kind of stuck with me how confident you were ahead of that fight. You're once again an underdog going into this fight against Islam. Does that give you any extra motivation heading in, or do you kind of just ignore all that stuff?
No, I feel like I've been the underdog most of my life. You know, this is a position I'm acquainted with, so I just keep moving forward and beating the odds, you know?
Based on some of the comments we've kind of heard from Islam the last week or so, some people kind of think he might be underestimating you. Maybe he's looking past you. Do you feel that he's underestimating you or kind of looking past this fight?
I'm not sure. You know, it's tough to get inside someone's head, but the things he said in some of those interviews, I can see why people might be saying that. But you think the kind of sportsman he is, he would not, I mean, being number one pound for pound world champion, being brought up under Khabib and that group of guys, those hard Dagestani wrestlers, they compete hard, they train hard. I wouldn't think he would be underestimating me or looking past me, but if he is, he'll wake up looking at the lights, buddy.
Where do you feel like you have an advantage in this fight? Standing up on the ground, you're obviously a well-decorated grappler as well. Do you feel like you have an advantage either way?
I feel like I can definitely sub him in the right position, or, you know, if he gets lazy trying to pass, I can sweep and sub. But I think picking him apart on the feet is where I will shine the most in this fight.
Another striker you fought less than a year ago, Justin Gaethje. You did suffer a loss in that fight. You're fighting for the title June 1st. Shows how fast things can change in the fight game. You were on the MMA Hour earlier this week, and I did see how you were talking about serendipity and how the stars have kind of lined for you to get this fight. Can you talk a little bit about how things did come together with Arman not being ready and Gaethje losing to Max last month?
The winner of Arman and Charles was the UFC's first pick to fight Islam for the belt. Arman couldn't turn around that quick. You know, he just got out of a training camp, fought. He would have to jump back into training camp and have maybe 5 weeks before fight week. You know, it's kind of pushing it when you're asking to be your best again after just grinding your body down for a training camp. And if he would have said no and Gaethje would have won, I believe they would have went with Gaethje. But obviously Gaethje lost. And I got the call. You know, so just exactly what you said with the question. It's the way things fell into place in my favor. And luckily for me, I've, in the past few years, been doing everything I need to do to be in the right position to, you know, receive a call like that.
I'll actually be in Newark in June to watch you fight. Prudential Center on Lafayette. That's kind of a sign maybe too, right?
I think the stars are aligning, man. We'll see on June 1st. 25 minutes to make it happen. But yeah, dude, represent Lafayette, Louisiana. Back on the main stage in a main event of a pay-per-view, fighting for the Undisputed World title on Lafayette Street. I mean, come on, bro. This is movie material.
Fine enough for you. You did mention, you know, when this fight was announced, you will be bringing your daughter to the fight. She'll be seeing you fight for the first time. She'll be octagon side, I think you said. Yeah. What does it mean to you to have her there, and what kind of lessons are you going to instill in her, regardless of the outcome of this fight?
You know, through her life, I've tried to instill everything that I think I know and have learned that means something. And I know I don't have a lot of years left of doing this. And I feel like, you know, she's 7, about to be 8. She's finishing up 2nd grade, going to the 3rd grade. I think and she was born into fighting, so she knows what we do. You never know what's going to happen. So for a little girl to see her superhero dad bleeding and hurt or potentially get hurt, I never wanted to do that to her. But at this point, I want her to experience it, be in the arena. And I think I know she's only 7 years old. So when I say mature, you know what I mean. But I think she's mature enough and at a spot where she can understand what's going on and daddy's going to be okay. She knows what I do. So many times she's pulled stitches out of my face when the cuts were healed. You know, like it's part of her life now. She doesn't see any different. She thinks everybody's dad fights. You know, she goes to school and she knows I'm at the gym. This other kid's dad is driving for UPS. She doesn't understand. It's what she knows. Fighting is what she knows because she was born into it. What's crazy is the night she was born, Nate Diaz and Conor were having their rematch on the day she was born. So in the hospital room, she's a newborn baby. I got my laptop in the corner. We're watching the pay-per-view. You know, she's not hours old. So it's a crazy journey, a crazy life, and I'm thankful for everything, man.
Have you thought about retirement? I know talking heads and pundits say this will probably be your last fight. I've heard, your retirement story. Have you thought about that? Have you run through scenarios through your mind, whether you win or lose this fight? What's next for you?
Yeah, and not even this fight particularly. I've been thinking about that the last 4 or 5 fights, like how much more do I want to give of myself to this sport? I've given my whole adult life, going on 18 years fighting, 50 fights. It's, and I love it. That's the thing, but I can't let something that I love so much take what really matters, and that's my well-being, my faculties. I have a family to be there for. I have businesses to run. And as you get older in life, different things mean more to you. When I was younger, with a young daughter and a wife, fighting was still everything. Of course, it changed my perspective, and I was thankful to be a father, and I love my family, but fighting was everything. Now, my family is everything. I'm at a point where I can walk away,
Tell us a little bit about your partnership with Bud Light. You'll have the Bud Light Genie in your corner. Can you just tell us a little bit about that partnership?
It's been fun, man. Bud Light Genie's a cool guy, very funny. Got to shoot a commercial with him. It was awesome. Also, me and the Bud Light Genie are teaming up, granting a wish. Some lucky Bud Light fan, UFC fan, is going to get to sit front row at UFC 302 and take it all in, cage side, man. That's big.